Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto became the billionaire streamer king of 7 desire heiresses? Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. We find ourselves at the docks, as it is also a week before school starts with 7 girls standing there as nervous yet excited as they're waiting for a person who has been away for the summer for 3-month-long video game tournaments. They are waiting for their boyfriend, then a yacht pulls up as it stops by the girls, and someone is on the edge with a bag on his back while holding some trophies as one of them says, "You're home and congratulations." The boy says, "Thanks babe," as he jumps off the yacht and lands on his foot. The girls run up and hug him welcoming him home and he gives all of them a hug in return as one of them says, "Did you get muscles? When did you get the time?" as 1 or 2 are feeling in his arms. The man chuckles, "Girls, you know I work out so this should not surprise you at all," as the same one says, "Yes, but last time you weren't this buffy with muscles." The man chuckles and says, "I will explain at home. Besides, I think grandma wants to see me again." As the girls nod then they hear, "Young master, welcome home," says a pair of maids as they are by a long black car. "Thank you Hilda and Yolda. I hope my house is in good condition," said the young master and Hilda says, "It is young master as Graphia is strict." The young master says, "Well she will be like that." He laughs a bit, as he says, "So did you guys bring my car?" Both nod as they say, "But before you go," they point to the long car. The young master, as his name is Naruto, he has blonde hair and blue eyes, nods as he gets into the car. Once he's inside, he sees one woman in the limo. As he knows her and says, "Greetings Grandma Mito." He looks uneasy for something as the person in the shadows is sitting as Naruto says, Gee Grandma am I, but..." Then he is grabbed and hugged as Naruto is hugged by a woman who seems to be in her 30s with red hair as she keeps it in 2 buns on the side of her head as she wearing a suit as it buttoned and the top part is unbuttoned due to her triple K cup and Naruto is buried in them while he can feel his back breaking to the hug as he says, "Let me go, Grandma. You're breaking my back." She lets him go and he cracks his back groaning, "Oh sorry Naruto, it's just that I haven't seen you for so long." Naruto deadpan says, "Grandma, you're acting like I've been gone for years." Mito pouts, "Naruto, I have lost your mother and father, I don't want to lose you as well." Naruto sighs as he knows that she is right as he says, "I know Grandma. I am the heir of the company and you will not lose me that easily." I mean, he has flashbacks of all the training he has gone through with his grandmother. Naruto shivers as it was not pretty at all. "Oh come on, it wasn't that bad," says Mito. Naruto starts naming things. "Let's see, age 7, you had me running 20 leaps with weights on my legs, with a pack of hungry wolves after me as I had uncooked meat tied to me." Mito says, "It got you faster." As she sees no problem. "Next, age 9, you had me start taking boxing lessons." Mito nods with that, "with trained kangaroo." How did you even find something like that?" Mito holds up a finger with a face as she sees no problem about it. "I had a friend who trained that kangaroo." Naruto says, "Then when I was 11, when I was 11. You took me to a beach so I started learning to swim." Mito nods then Naruto says, "You then had me fight sharks." As a thought bubble appeared above him as he is fighting against sharks. "And that's why you are a strong swimmer now," says Mito. "After a shark bit my," shouts Naruto with an eye twitching as she says, "Oh forget about that. Now how did your thing go?" She isn't sure what it was called. "The tournaments went well and I won them. I am the heir of Uzutech who is also the biggest YouTuber and video game tournament champion," Naruto says with a smile as Mito says, "That's good to hear Naruto. I'm sure it would what does that mean anyway?" She isn't familiar that much with YouTube and other things that Naruto does, but he's doing very great and it makes him happy. Naruto chuckles, "Let's just say that I am very popular even though I hide who I am on YouTube. But I need to get home with my girl's grandma," Mito nods as she says, "Are you sure I can't take all of you home? After all, you must be tired from the trip." Naruto says, "Don't you remember that I own a self-driving car?" Mito blinks then knocks on her head as she says, "Dummy. Sorry, I've been busy with everything and finished them in time so I can see you when you returned home." Naruto chuckles, "You are a wonderful grandmother." She nods, "Now off you go. I'm sure your girls' wives-to-be want to spend time with you. You know, before all of you return to school and all." Naruto nods and gets out. "I will see you later, Grandma," as she waves by. Sometime later at Naruto's place, Naruto is relaxing on one of his girl's laps and looks up to see. It's a girl with blonde hair like Naruto, but she doesn't have spiky hair as it is smooth and shoulder length. Cool eyes as she has an insane figure as her size that could rival Mito's as they are double K cup, and she is wearing a shirt with his YouTube logo on it as it is a nine-tailed fox with yoga pants on, and she is barefoot, as she asks, "Which one of us you miss the most?" As she rubs her hand through Naruto's hair, Naruto says, "That's a trick question, as you know that I miss all of you. You know that Samui Arashikage giggles as all of them love Naruto. Samui is an heiress as well, but her family has made their name in the music industry. The speakers, microphones, you name it, they will do it. Hell, they have a recording studio. Her company is Arashi Industry. And she is the oldest among them, though given she is only 2 years older." Then they hear, "Mon Cherry." Naruto looks up and sees a girl wearing all brown-colored clothes, with brown hair but one has some orange on it. She has an hourglass figure with her being double J cup and you can bounce a coin off of. This is Coco Odell, who is the heiress of Odell Fashion, where they come up with so many fashion designs, and Coco, being a fashionista, can't wait to take over. She is also a part-time model with another girl of Naruto's. As Naruto says, "What's up, Coco?" Coco says over, then leans down and kisses him, then she breaks the kiss and says, "Welcome home, Mon Cherry." Naruto smiles at that, as others say, "Ah, you take the first kiss since Naruto got back." Coco cutely sticks out her tongue and holds up a victory sign. Naruto says, Now no fighting." Samui giggles and keeps rubbing her hand through his hair. The next girl with long back hair with golden eyes, as she wears clothes of black and white as it shows off her figure, with her being double G, with her being a Bellabuti which turns many heads. This is Blake Belladonna, and she is the heiress of Belladonna Company. They publish and sell books, and they have published many famous books. And she likes reading them as she has the latest one in hand. Blake comes over and asks, "So Naruto, are you looking forward to the new school year?" As she sits on the floor, back against the couch, as she under Naruto, who then starts getting her head scratched. "Not really, as I know that we are going to be dealing with idiotic bullies," said Naruto, while Blake is blushing badly as she is trying not to make any purr noises as she is too cat-like at times. Then another woman sits down on another couch as she wearing the most fashionable clothes there is, as she has blonde hair like Naruto and Samui but with very long twin tails, as she has a phone in her hand with a sticker of a Pokemon that's of a black and white flying squirrel like Pokemon with yellow cheek marks on them. She is Elisa Namikaze, a very distant relative of Naruto, about the 50th cousin, and she is an heiress to a modeling company as she is a part-time model as well like Coco and one more girl. She is playing Pokemon Go on her phone as she is trying to catch a Pokemon she wanted, but it runs away, causing her to jump up from her seat, which makes her of J-Cup bounce as she says, "Damn it. That damn Pokemon got away." Naruto says, "What was it?" Elisa says, "That cute zebra-like Pokemon. Blitzel." Naruto pulls out his phone and says, "I have about 3 of them. Would you like one, or do you want to catch one yourself?" Elisa says, "Please trade it to me. It would mean so much more if it came from you, Naruto." Naruto smiles and sends her one, and it is female with a nickname of Elisa, and it is shiny. Upon seeing it, she lets out a loud cheer. "Thank you, Naruto." Another woman chuckles as she says, "Oh, she just loves her Pokemon game more than her modeling." This woman has white long hair as she wears a dress with no sleeves as she has large of double J as she gives off a kinda soul aura. But Mirajan, this is from the master of video games and our fiancé himself, said Elisa, and Mirajan giggles. Mirajan Strauss is the heiress of so many clubs around the world. Hell, the club in town Naruto helped fund to build, so he and the girls are VIPs. She is also a part-time model. Fair enough, said Mirajan. Then another woman with winter hair said, she loves Pokemon more than modeling, but not more than our beloved Naruto. As she is wearing all icy white clothes with a hit of blue, she is Winter Schnee and she places her arms under J Cup. Winter is the oldest of the Schnee family and heiress to their company, but her father was removed by her mother who took control again. Now then, what should we do until then? Naruto asks. We could take turns cuddling or we can get your next video up on YouTube, said his last fiancé. She has black hair with unique style, a spiky ponytail with a red shirt with it hugging onto her large J cup as she has a curvy figure. This is Momo Yaozu, she is the heiress of a clothing store empire. Naruto and his girls are very powerful heirs, but they don't care about that at all. The girls love Naruto for who he is and Naruto loves them all. Naruto says, I say cuddling first. The girls smile as he will put them all first before anything else, well besides his family, but they are his family in the future. As they take turns cuddling with Naruto, they are happy that Naruto is their fiancé as he is the greatest they could ever ask for. Naruto smiles loving his girls so much. A week later, 3 Uzutech cars are pulling up in the parking lot of their school, aka one of Konoha's most prestigious schools, as it ranks number 1 among the rest of the schools. How are simple the teaching staff, and they got a principal who takes no shit at all as he was in the Navy and he will not show favorites to anyone at all. Naruto gets out of the car and he lets out a sigh as he says, I hope you girls are ready as there are going to be perverts in this damn school with pathetic jocks as well. He has his eyes closed as he wears the school's uniform. The girls get out of the cars as well. Yeah, and I know I am not looking forward to it. I have to wait all day for you guys to come back home, said Elisa as she sighs along with the others. I don't know about you guys, but it's a good thing I finished high school last year, she smiles. Naruto says, yeah, you and Samui are in college, aren't you both, while the rest of us are juniors. They look at Samui as she says, oh, don't make a big deal. Samui and Elisa are taking a break this year to relax a bit. Naruto says, you're just happy that you don't have to see and hear the school's most annoying girl, aka Miss Pink Hair Howler Monkey, as both look away like they don't know what Naruto is talking about. Then Coco says, also her annoying bitch friend. As Winter is a senior, both Samui and Elisa say together, oh, look at the time, as they push Naruto and others toward the doors as they drive off. Naruto and his 5 other girls groaned. Then they hear, welcome back, as their turn to see the principal. He is wearing a suit and tie with combat boots on and his jacket on his shoulders. His eyes are multicolored with fire red hair, as they say together, P. Principal Phoenixkij. I told everyone last year it is Principal Blaze, said the now named Blaze. Naruto says, sorry, I notice I don't see the vice. She is busy getting things ready and trust me you will know her well, Mr. Uzumaki, said Blaze as Naruto blinks as he says, well, good to be back Principal Phoenixkij. He and the girls walk off as Blaze says, behave all of you. Also, have a good day. Then he holds out a hand as he's stopping a student's face has way too many pieces, okay that's going too far. But, said the student, in the school, Naruto is putting things in his locker and his locker neighbor is Koko and the other is Shikamaru as Shikamaru asks, so where have you been? Haven't seen you all summer Naruto. Video game tournaments. I was out of the country, said Naruto. Shikamaru stops and looks at him. Of course, the Maelstrom King would not miss out on a video game tournament. Naruto chuckles as Shikamaru had figured out that it is Naruto who is the Maelstrom King on YouTube. Well, make sure you don't tell anyone else what you did, says Shikamaru. Well, they don't know about my YouTube life at all. Plus I don't care what jocks say, they can kiss my for all I care, said Naruto. Shikamaru asked, if you say so, by the way, have you heard? No, what is it? Asked Naruto. Shikamaru says, there's some new girl arriving today. Naruto says, of course, there is a new student as it is the first day of school. Shikamaru says, either way, it seems this girl is looking for someone with the video username Maelstrom King. Naruto says, she is looking for me greatly. Why is the question? Shikamaru says, well, she did come up to me and ask if I'm you and I said no, but I did ask her why, something about wanting a rematch but face to face, in shooting game. Naruto says, oh, I know the game. Yeah, I will be avoiding her for a while. He remembered now, he faced someone with the username, Lady Susanoo, and how the messages were, I want a rematch, along with other things as Naruto didn't answer it, due to him getting ready to go for the tournament. So how did she find out I live here? Then someone comes around the corner and is looking for someone. Both Naruto and Koko see a girl they're never seen before as she has long black hair with black eyes, wearing the female school uniform, but Naruto gets a nagging feeling in his head that he knows those eyes from somewhere as the girl has a curvy figure as well, having Triple H as Naruto is thinking, hold on, there are not many people with their features. The two people I can think of who had there are. Maelstrom King, where are you? Shouts the girl as she is getting impatient, and it hits Naruto, Itomi and Makoto Uchiha. As images of the two appeared in his head as he thought, I haven't talked to Itomi for some time now. So how is she related to Itomi? The girl growls and stomps her foot, then someone asks, why is she looking for a famous YouTuber? As that is Maelstrom King's name in video games, or at times it is MK. As everyone is talking, the girl says, cause I'm looking for him or her. Naruto turns around and gets his things and says to himself, yup, she might be Itomi's little sister alright, as he heads to class, and so does Koko. The girl is pouting as she is getting nothing. Then someone gets into Naruto and Koko's way. Naruto says, sigh, what do you want? Why is this hottie with your nerdy? Asked Baxter, who is a jock, and Koko says, who I want to hang with is none of your damn business. Come on Koko, you should be with the popular kids, not with this nerd, said as Naruto rolls his eyes, then kicks him on the stomach. Bends over in pain and both Naruto and Koko walk right around. Then another student comes up to them. As the popular girl's name is Paulina Sanchez, I don't understand you, Koko. Why would someone like you hang out with a nerd and geek like him? She's pointing at Naruto. Paulina, you should know by now Naruto is the nicest person around and he is handsome as well. He does not care about what others think about him. He just really does not care, said Koko. Naruto is looking at the time as he thinks. Every day with them, Naruto and Koko head into the classroom and sits down as the teacher walks in. What's going on here? Says a woman named Nimari Kayama aka Midnight, as her hair is as black as the midnight night sky. As she has long back hair with blue eyes, as she wearing glasses, as she wearing what most teachers wear. Naruto right away says, they're getting in our way as class is about to start, and I'm sure here was planning on punching me. Both Paulina and have Nimari turn at them both. Detention both of you tonight, she said as Paulina says, why, you don't be serious. He's lying. Midnight says, really, you both have a record of bullying people, so it fits your MO. She looks at the two while Naruto and Koko make their way toward class. Later at the lunch period, Naruto is at lunch with his 5 girls as Naruto says, so the first day back is so, as he eats his pizza. The others nod, but they are happy that the lunch meals are good and fresh, as the principal is not one to shy away from fresh ingredients for his students. The girls nod as they eat their food, as well as Koko says, that reminds me, do any of you have a class with this girl who is looking for Naruto? Well, more so his streaming username. Momo says, I do. As Naruto says, so what's she like? Momo says, well, she's very smart, that's for sure, but her passion for gaming is, well, her grudge or something. Then she points at her eyes. She does this thing with her eyes when she's very upset or just mad, her eye colors turn from black to red, the others blink on that. As Naruto thinks, Itomi does that too, as he remembers seeing Itomi getting mad about something and her eyes turn red. Naruto is slowly putting the clues together. Yup, they are definitely related. Then they hear a perverted giggle and turn to see a midget with purple hair. "Oh, it's you," says Coco. "Oh yes, a good view," said the pervert. Smack. A chop of a hand hits his head, hard. The pervert is knocked out as it was done by Satsuki as she says, "Pervert." As she walks off, she is still looking for Naruto, well by his username, as she walks off and out of ear range as well with the tiny man being dragged away. Naruto says, "I think I'm going to make a call with a friend of mine." The girls nod as Naruto gets up and goes to make a call. As he walks outside of the building as he hears the phone ringing until he hears, "Yan, you have reached Itomi Uchiha, the do you want at this ungodly hour," said the voice of one Itomi Uchiha, she lives somewhere else at different time zone. Naruto then chuckles and asks, "Oh, is my wonderful friend Itomi not happy that I have finally called her again?" A few seconds later she says, "Oh my lord, Naruto. It is good to hear your voice again." Itomi Uchiha is the heiress of a resort hotel that her family has run since her father passed away and her mother took over until Itomi is old enough. It's been too long, so how's life in the USA's Big Apple? It goes well, but I miss home and seeing you, Naruto. But I am in college learning more about business for when I take over. So why are you calling me? Asked Itomi, and Naruto asked, "Does the name Satsuki ring a bell for you?" Satsuki, as in my little sister. Yeah, it does. Why are you asking? Said Itomi, as Naruto told her what was going on and said, "Oh no, of course, she would do that. Sigh, this is why I told mom not to let Satsuki stay behind, but no. Sigh, there's not much I can do for you on that, Naruto. I might have an idea, but I will need a bit of time to get it set up if you will help me with it," said Naruto. Itomi says, "Well, I'm listening." Naruto explains his plan about accepting the challenge, but it will be on the weekend and he needs Itomi to tell Satsuki that she knows the Maelstrom video game king. "Well, I'm not lying since I do know you after all." Naruto nods, then asks, "When are you coming to visit, as I and the girls want to see you again?" Itomi says, "Well, I'm planning to visit maybe in a couple of months." Naruto smirks, "Good, as I might have some wicked plans for you." He hears nothing from her until, "Is it to have with me?" Naruto blushes at that as she says, "If it is, I don't mind, since I do like you more than a friend, after all." Naruto says, "Maybe, and it might be more tying you to my bed and having my wicked way with you." As he hears, "Oh my." Naruto smirks, "Oh yes, I have some wicked plans for you." Itomi shivers, "Well, enough of that, I will talk to you soon, lover boy." She hangs up. Naruto hangs up and puts his phone away and walks back to the girls as he tells them about the plan. They smirk, knowing this will be fun. Later into the weekend, Satsuki is going where Itomi told her to go, and she finds the complex she goes in and is shocked it is a warehouse where the Maelstrom King has his merchandise, as she thinks, "Finally, I will have my rematch." Then she is knocked out and is put into a vehicle, as well as putting a bag over her head as they head somewhere, and everything turns dark. Sometime later, Satsuki starts to wake up as the bag is removed as she hears, "I heard you've been looking for me." Satsuki looks up and sees a man in a long jacket open with the MK merchandise shirt with fingerless gloves, combat pants, and boots. He is also wearing the hood covering the man's hair with a mask that looks like a fox's face with red eyes. "You, Maelstrom video game king, I found you at last," says Satsuki. The man chuckles and says, "More as I found you. As they don't find me, I find them. Don't care, I just want my rematch," says Satsuki. The man asks, "Why do you want a rematch?" Satsuki says, "'Cause you didn't beat me at my best. And you just one-shot me in that match." The man chuckles and, "Follow me please." He leads her somewhere. He enters a game room. Satsuki says, "Get ready for battle." as she does the dramatic pose. I hope you don't plan on doing that the whole time, said the king as Satsuki says, no promises. One game later, Satsuki is on the ground with an aura of defeat as the king says, oh calm down. It wasn't that bad, I spent my time being a master of video games, said Satsuki as she had her head on her knees. The king chuckles and points to the game's tournament trophies he has won, but she says too much in her gloom, it seems you are done here or a rematch is needed. Asked the king, and no, I'm good, she's still gloomy. Then she hears, this is not the little sister I know who would get up and keep trying until she got it. She looks up to see Itomi on the screen, big sis. Said Satsuki as she thought Itomi would be busy with something. Itomi says, where is the sister who would not stop at nothing to win? Satsuki says, you're right big sis. She gets back to it, Itomi smiles, plus you met one of the most famous YouTubers in the world. He has hosted tournaments before. Hell, he has even hosted a team paintball tournament. Said Itomi, then she realizes that no one is listening as Satsuki and King are very into their match. Itomi huffs, then she ends the call as she leaves behind a message that says, see you both in a few months. A couple of hours of rounds later. Satsuki is pouting, damn it I can't beat you. King says, what can I say? I'm the best. Satsuki nods, well I got to spend the day with you, it was fun. King says, well I can't let you leave empty-handed now can I? Satsuki looks at him and says, what's that? King hands her a shirt that he sells, to remember this day. Satsuki looks at it, wait this is new. King nods, new merch that was released not 2 weeks ago. Would you like me to sign it? Satsuki looks at it then says, yes. King signs it and Satsuki smiles at that. With that, Satsuki leaves but stops as she asks, so, where am I anyway? But before she could look around she was blindfolded and put into a vehicle. A week later, Naruto is relaxing with Blake cuddling up to him as they are taking a nap. Then someone opens the door and walks over to them both and looks down and smiles. Naruto says while his eyes are still closed, how can I help you? Blake groans as she holds onto Naruto. The person is Momo. Well, you can keep being who you are, Naruto. Naruto opens an eye, hey Momo. Hello to you as well. Are you enjoying cuddling Blake? Asked Momo. Naruto said, yes, like to join. Momo says, maybe later. As our kitty is enjoying this. As Blake is hugging Naruto as she sleeps, well I do have my other side, Momo says, oh very well, as she joins in. They lay on the floor napping, then Winter walks with a bag of letters from Naruto's contest. Naruto. You got letters, says Winter. Naruto says, from my contest right? And Winter nods, you need to pick a winner. Naruto says, read them, I'm too comfortable to move. Winter reads them all to Naruto but one stands out to him as the kid also wants some advice on how to be a successful YouTuber. That one, I like that one, says Naruto. Winter nods and then writes letters to the others, also we have the kid's address so a surprise appearance of Maelstrom King at his house, said Winter. As Naruto says, alright, get things ready for tomorrow. The next day, there is a knock at a door and a woman is wondering who that is when she opens the door and sees Maelstrom King standing there and she is shocked as she says, why you are. Indeed I am and your son Josh has won the contest that I hosted and he gets to spend the day with me. Said Naruto as the mother says, see come in. Naruto enters the house and the mother says, Josh you have a guest. Who is it mom? Said the kid, which is likely Josh. Naruto walks into the living room and sees the kid planning video games and Naruto says, well let's see you won the contest. The kid stops and pauses the game then turns to see the Maelstrom King and he says, and no way. Why you're, as he was too shocked to finish. Indeed I am Maelstrom King and you won the contest, said Naruto as Josh goes to hug Naruto as he can't believe it. Naruto chuckles, so kid you want to be a YouTuber well I can help you get started okay. After a short while, Naruto is playing video games with him and has teamed up with him to give him advice on what to do as well, not what to do. One of Josh's friends asks who is with him, then Naruto turns on his headphones and says, "Sup, this is Maelstrom King in with my new friend Josh and we are going to kick butt." And they freak out as one of the, "No way dude. Did you win?" "Heck, yeah I did. Now I am getting some good advice and man I am having a wonderful day," said Josh. He smiles as his friends are glad to hear it as they begin the game. The double team of Naruto and Josh was something to be scared of as they kept winning the match. After the match, Naruto laughs with Josh as they had fun. This went on for hours. Then it was time for Naruto to leave, but he left a signed shirt for Josh and a picture they took together. After that, Naruto and company head on home. Naruto gets home and gets out of costume as he says, "That was fun." The girls giggle, "It seems like you had a lot of fun." Naruto smiles at that, "Indeed I did, now I'm going to eat then sleep." The girls nod as Graphia was making dinner. As they are making food, Naruto says, "How long will it take?" "About 10 to 20 minutes, why?" said Graphia, as Naruto says, "Well, keep it warm for me," and he walks over and picks up Samui. Samui here, as he has her on his shoulder. Wait and Naruto, what are you doing?" As she knows what's up as she blushes. "Simple, I need something from you," says Naruto with Samui saying, but," then she moans as she feels Naruto smack her as Winter says, "So what happens with eating then sleeping?" Naruto says, "Change my mind," as he heads over to his room while Samui is on his shoulder. Samui is still blushing as she thinks, "Oh boy, I am in for it now," again, as she remembers from last time. Moments later at Naruto's room, Naruto enters the room with Samui still over his shoulder as she says, "And Naruto please think about this." Naruto toss her onto the bed as he says, "Oh really, as I recall the skimpy bikini this morning." Samui blushes as he says, "I bet you're still wearing it under your clothes." He smirks. Naruto grabs her top and rips it open, making her eep in shock as her bikini clad bounce free. Samui blushing badly as she says, "Oh my, it seems you found out my secret and I hope someone can save me." She gets kissed by Naruto. As Naruto is kissing her, he grabs her right and she kisses back while blushing badly. Naruto's tongue enters her mouth and Samui kisses back, with a blush on her. Naruto then breaks the kiss. "It seems you want to be badly." And Samui says, "Yes I do." Naruto then says, "Then strip me and make it sexy." Samui smiles. Samui then gets up and sexually strips Naruto. Starts. As she bends over to remove her bottoms, she also shakes her for Naruto to see, then she removes her top and shakes her for him. "Come on my love, come and claim my body as you love to do to us," Samui said in a sexy voice. Naruto grabs her and gets her to sit on his lap. Naruto is grabbing her left while rubbing her thigh as he says, "Oh, you girls are my horny fiancés. I know you girls will never betray me." Samui moans as she says, "And never. I would never do that." Naruto says, "I know and I am happy that you girls are mine. But I know you want me to get more. But we will talk later. Your pleasure is now." As he starts playing with her more. Samui keeps moaning as she loves it with Naruto playing with her. Naruto then licks her neck. "Tell me Samui, how much do you want me to you?" Samui moans more and says, "Please me Naruto. I need you so badly, please me." Then she feels Naruto's against her. Samui moans as she loves this so much. Naruto keeps it up as he kisses Samui deeply. Samui moans into the kiss. A few minutes later, with Samui laying on her back against the bed, Naruto is rubbing her with his as Samui is looking at the size of Naruto's. His is 18 inches, and it is 4 inches thick. Samui is thinking, "I had my first time with that monster and it's about to enter me again," with hearts in her eyes. Naruto then thrusts into her and Samui screams as she shouts, "Yes, you're back where you belong Naruto Jr." Naruto smirks. Naruto is thrusting into her, making her bounce widely. Samui screams with her saying, "Yes please Naruto, keep it up. I love when you me." with her eyes rolling upward and her tongue hanging out of her mouth. Naruto then grabs her as he keeps her. Naruto thrusts more as he says, "Yes, I love you girls so much. I will not let anyone take you from me." He thrusts more in Samui with her screaming more. Naruto keeps her, then Samui shakes as she had come from the, but Naruto is still her more. Naruto then leans down and takes one of her nipples into his mouth with his tongue circling her nipple, making her moan more. Samui moans out, "Yes Naruto, please keep it up. I love you so much." Naruto thrusts more in her. Samui comes again and says, "Oh my love, I think you have ruined me for others." Naruto says, "That's the whole point, Samui." Naruto then starts on her neck, leaving a hickey. Both blondes keep it up with Naruto licking her cheek. Samui moans as Naruto is behind her, holding her leg up while thrusting into her as sweat forms on their bodies as they keep it up more. Naruto keeps her as he wants to keep her. An hour later, Naruto is her in full Nelson with her legs against her and them near her ears as she said, "I see, can't think anymore." Naruto keeps her. "Oh, but that is one of your best features, your wonderful mind," said Naruto as she keeps moaning, as she shouts, "N not W when Y you me with N Naruto Jr." Naruto keeps her and he says, "That's it, my big-titted queen of cool, take my." Samui screams more as she takes it more and more. Naruto then says, "I hope you're as ready as I am going to come into your womb." Samui shouts, "Please come in me." Naruto smirks as he thrusts more and more in her. Then 15 minutes later he comes right into her as she comes as well. Samui shouts, "Yes, fill up my womb." With her eyes rolling upward with Naruto filling her up as he says, "Yes, take my cum into your womb." Half hour later, Naruto is Samui's making her moan as she shouts out, "Oh me. My." Naruto keeps and is also smacking her as well, making her moan more as he thrusts more in her. Samui says, "Yes, more please." As Naruto keeps and smacking her as her large plump jigging for each time it hits against Naruto. Naruto then grabs her and squeezes her cheeks, making her moan as she loses her mind more. With Samui shouting out, "Yes, more please, I want it more." Samui has hearts in her eyes and hearts coming out of her head as she adds, "As I love my man. Who me like an animal. A beast." Naruto says, "I love my women and I plan on keeping you all safe." As he thrusts more in her with Samui screams louder and she loves it. Naruto then leans over and reaches for her, bouncing, and he grabs them. Samui screams louder. Couple hours later, Naruto is groaning as Samui is bouncing on his lap with her pushed against his chest. Naruto says, "That's it, keep it up, my dear." Naruto has his hands on her, squeezing her with Samui having her hands on Naruto's shoulders as she says, "Yes Naruto, keep me, I love you so much." Then she kisses him and Naruto kisses back. Then there's a knock on the door. Naruto breaks the kiss and asks, "Yes. Your dinner is in the fridge. It can be reheated when you two are done." "Thank you," said Naruto as he keeps Samui with her eyes rolling upward as she lost her mind completely. Naruto is enjoying her and Samui feels the same. Samui screams as she moves her body to match Naruto's rhythm. Naruto then licks her neck and leaves another hickey with Samui moaning upon that. Naruto squeezes her more and makes her move faster on his. Naruto then stops. Samui whines, "Why?" Then she finds herself face against the large window. Samui moans as her are also pushed up against the window as she feels the coldness of the glass onto her nipples. Samui moans upon it. Image it, Samui, people seeing you getting like your former classmates, showing all those who hit on you that you are owned by someone else. Says Naruto as he resumes her with Samui answering, "Let them stare, I belong to you, my love. Show the world that I belong to you, please. Fill me up even more." Naruto thrusts more in her as he says, "Oh I will, my I do enjoy you all showing you belong to me." He her more and more. An hour later, over. Samui is out of it with her belly bloated with cum as she says something as she semi-passed out, so much see cum. Naruto says, "All right, I'm getting food in me." He gets up and walks out of the room, and heads toward the kitchen. Naruto stretches, then he heads toward the kitchen, then he sees Elisa having a snack as she says, "Oh Naruto." Naruto smiles. "How goes the Pokemon hunting?" asked Naruto as he gets his dinner. Elisa says, "It's going well and I see you were busy." She looks at Naruto's. "Yes, I was." "And no, Elisa, not happening," said Naruto as he turns and she is just in her bra and yoga pants. "I wasn't saying anything." She looks to the side while blushing. Naruto says, "I know you girls so well. Also I have to ask, what do you think about having more girls join?" asked Naruto. Elisa says, "About time, as this place is very big and we have lots of rooms." "Yeah, but it is going to be a secret. Remember, I can't reveal who I am on both sides of my life. Plus this is not that big, just big enough for you girls, the maids, and me," said Naruto. Elisa says, "Well, back on that, what are you doing with that anyway?" She points at Naruto's still hardened. Naruto says, "A shower." Elisa, "Very well," as she sees him finish up eating, then walks over to the showers. Moments later as she remembers, wait, ain't Blake and Winter showering? Naruto walks in and sees Blake and Winter as they're still showering. He smiles as he says, "Evening, you two." They jump a little bit, making their bounce as their turn to see, and Naruto. Naruto chuckles as he enters the shower as says, "Sorry for startling you two." Naruto starts to shower with them. They're blushing as Winter says, "And Naruto, how was dinner?" as she tries not to look at Naruto's but couldn't resist as Blake is full on looking at it. Naruto then moves quickly and, smack. Naruto smacks their asses. "Girls, you're not getting it tonight. I am tired, so please, I promise I will take you both another day this week." As their look at his as they're says together, "Why, your Naruto Jr. says oh otherwise." Naruto says, "Girls, if I you both, then people will question what happened to you both." As Winter says, "Well, I'm off tomorrow." She blushes and Blake says, "So do I." Naruto says, "Girls, school tomorrow." "So no." Both groan in disappointment. Naruto keeps showering as he washes. Both girls pout as they want some of Naruto's love. Afterward, Naruto heads back to his room. And he doesn't only find Samui, who is still passed out, but a couple of others. Naruto says, "Hello girls, what is up?" as they look at him and one of them says, "So why are you blue balling 3 girls?" Naruto says, "School and I need a little break, girls, but I promise I will get to you all." Naruto walks up to them as they look at him, but it doesn't take long as they head to their rooms and go to bed. The next day, Naruto left a clone as it was going to do a stream today. The Uzumaki clan are the only ones with Charka still and know how to use it, as Naruto is driving 3 of his girls to school with him. They are Blake, Winter, and Momo. "Girls, I know you're a bit unhappy with me, but remember this, I was also blue balling myself, so you were not the only ones suffering." As Winter says, "Still Naruto," as she is still a bit mad. Naruto then pokes her cheek. "Winter, need I remind you how you all have teased me by at times wearing only your underwear? Sometimes just your panties are just yoga pants with nothing underneath, or even your skimpiest bikini. So you can't be that angry when you have teased me and given me blue balls." Winter says, "Okay, you win." Naruto nods. "Besides, you girls know I keep my promises." Blake says, "We know." Naruto says, "Though I do worry about you girls at times." As Momo says, "Like what?" Naruto says, "Perverts groping you all. Trust me girls, I know you take care of yourselves, but more than one." All the girls in the car look at him and say, "You do know Blake here send a guy to the right?" Blake is being pointed at by Momo and Winter. Naruto says, "And I sent a stalker to the morgue." They nod to that, as Blake says, "I would have too if it wasn't for that pink hair girl getting in my way." As Naruto says, "Whom which you also sent to the ER." Blake nods as Naruto pulls up to the school and they all get out and look at the others getting out of the other 2 cars as Blake says, "We will see you later Naruto." She gives a quick kiss on the cheek. Naruto chuckles as he and Coco head to class as Paulina glares at them with her friend Star. Naruto is rolling his eyes as he thinks, "Oh great, what do they want?" They keep walking as Naruto thinks more, can you two just leave me alone? Naruto and Koko enter their classroom with their teacher is waiting for everyone as the teacher says, "Alright class." Class begins then it is time for the gym. Just as Naruto walks out of the changing room, Naruto then ducks as Dash tries to grab him and Naruto says, "The do you want now Dash? It is time for you to be stuffed into your locker," said Dash but someone stops him. They turn to see Miss Chun-Li, the mother of Tenten Lee and adopted mother of Musubi and Tai Lee, who is married to Mai Shirnai as she says, "Mind explaining to me what you were trying to do?" Dash says, "Trying to mess with my friend." Dash nervously chuckles as Chun-Li does not buy it. "Mr. Baxter leave him be now or else." Naruto is walking away as he thinking, "I can't wait for the school year to end." He is imaging himself on a private beach owned by the Uzumaki clan. Then the game of dodgeball starts, followed by, "Naruto look out," said a teammate of Naruto in the dodgeball, but Naruto catches the ball then throws it and it hits Dash in the chest and Naruto says, "Thanks," to the one who yelled at him as he thought, "If it wasn't for that, I would have got hit in the end." They keep playing until it is time from gym to end, as everyone is about to change up. Naruto hears, "Mr. Uzumaki, could come here for a bit," says Chun-Li. Naruto walks over to her, "Yes sensei." Chun-Li asks Naruto, "Mr. Uzumaki, are you a fun guy?" Naruto says, "Depends on what kind of fun you mean." Naruto sees the sensei with thick legs sighs and says, "Sorry, I'm asking cause, you know Tenten and her best friend right?" Naruto says, "Yes I do." As a thought bubble appeared above his head, he sees both Tenten and Shizuka together with Shizuka, holding daggers as she aims them at a random person who was asking for something simple. With Tenten holding her back. "Well, I'm asking cause, Shizuka needs help," said Chun-Li. Naruto asks, "What kind of help?" Later after school, Naruto can't believe he agreed to do this. He's going to teach Shizuka how to learn to relax and have fun. As his thoughts are, so why would someone like Shizuka carry knives anyway? As he remembers how she looks. She has long black hair, green eyes, and a figure who does both modeling and mixed martial arts. Her eye cup with a plump as she wears the standard of their school's uniform. Naruto sighs as he gets into his car and waits for the girls so he could inform them as his afternoon plans had changed. 3 of his girls enter the car. They are Mirajan in shotgun, Samui and Momo in the back. Naruto says, "Alright so, I have something to tell you all." "What's up Naruto?" asked Momo. Naruto informs him what he's going to do after he drops them off, with Samui saying, "Shizuka." Shizuka, as she is trying to remember since she doesn't remember all of Naruto's classmates of his year. "Chun-Li sensei asked me to help her to learn to have fun," said Naruto with Momo saying, "Is her last name Nadeshiko?" Naruto looks at her and says, "Yeah, what about it?" Momo says, "Oh geez." Naruto looks at her and says, "Alright spill Momo." Momo says, "Well what I know, Nadeshiko is also the name of an all-female mafia gang." Naruto says, "I thought I heard that name before." As he goes keeps thinking then widens his eyes, "Oh. I think the boss and my mother were friends." The girl's eyes widen as Momo says, "Wait how?" Naruto says, "I don't know but it was in my mom's dairy." The girls nod as it makes sense in a way. They reach Naruto's home and he drops them off and heads out again. Luckily he already finished his homework. So he is going to meet up with Shizuka. Naruto is driving there as he remembers what the girls had told him, and why Shizuka is the way she is. Growing up in the mafia she had become paranoid as, thus having major trust issues there she's not familiar with. Naruto pulls up to a location, which is the mall. Naruto parks his car and gets out as he walks up to where Shizuka is. Then he looks around then he sees a pair of guys are backing up away from, well, Shizuka as she has pair of knives and asks, "Who sent you?" "We were just looking for the toy store," said one of them was scared as shit but Naruto came up and said, "Whoa there." She turns the blades onto Naruto. Realizing who it is, She says, oh, Uzumaki. Sorry. Naruto says, this is why I am here. He places his hands on hers as he says, move along please, sorry about this, as he sweat drops. The men run away. Shizuka drops her head in embarrassment as she says, I did it again. Naruto says, yes you did. He pats her head as he says, that's why I'm here. Shizuka has a small smile. Thank you Uzumaki, said Shizuka. Naruto nods, this is why Chunla-sensei asked me to help you. He smiles with Shizuka nodding. Later the two at the food court as Naruto says, I get it your life is not easy but I do respect your family. They will not touch anyone innocent and they don't like non-prescription drugs in children's hands. Shizuka looks at him and says, how do you know, as she narrowed her eyes on him. Naruto is thinking, crap. Let's just say our parents knew each other. But I want to help you relax a bit more. Naruto explains. Shizuka looks at him, I will believe you. For now. Naruto nods at that and then they head out as he thinking, great she's sussing me now, why do I hear that damn track song when I said it? As they talk as Naruto is giving Shizuka questions about what she should do. Then they are heading to her house in Naruto's car as Shizuka says, thank you for what you have taught me today Uzumaki, she bows. Naruto says, you have only reached the tip of the iceberg. As Shizuka is about to say something, stops as she sees a pair of hands grab Naruto. They blindfold and gag him and Shizuka is trying to stop this. Then they hear voices and Shizuka knows who it is. As the bags get removed and Naruto sees a woman, Naruto is in a chair in front of a desk with a gun to the back of his head as he is sweating badly as he hears, so, who are you boy and what were you doing with my little girl? Then Shizuka says, he's a friend from school mom. The woman asks, and does your friend have a name? Shizuka says, his name is Naruto Uzumaki. The woman says, Uzumaki, I knew an Uzumaki. Then she looks at Naruto, what's your relationship with a woman named Kushina Uzumaki? She was my mother, said Naruto who is not happy. Then the woman says, alright, and do you have it? Naruto asks, have what be specific? As the gun is pushed more into his head, if you don't remove that gun from my head, I will break out and shove the damn thing down your throat and force you to shit it out. Naruto's eyes are turning red. The woman says, and there you go, you do have it. She looks at one of her women and they undo the rope on Naruto. Naruto then turns around and takes the gun away then to everyone's shock but the leader's he crushes it and turns it into a ball then he glares at the woman who had the gun on his head and she backs up. The leader says, yup that's the infamous Uzumaki curse. I'm not sure as Kushina never told me what its role is in your family. It was a gift from Kurama, the partner of his third container, Naruto Uzumaki the first. The hero of the shinobi world. Said Naruto. The woman says, yeah I know my history kid, I went to school believe it or not. As she gets up and looks at him, so I will ask again but more, nicely, what were you two doing together? Please. Chun-Li sensei wanted me to teach Shizuka to relax a bit more as she is jumpy. She pulled her knives out on two guys looking for a toy store, said Naruto. The woman sighs as she places a hand on her face as she says, this is my fault, I built an empire, have a daughter that I would do anything to protect her but I made her be wary of everyone she doesn't know and I add more wood to that fire when I taught her self-defense, giving her knives, guns, grenades. Naruto widens at that and looks at Shizuka, you have grenades. Shizuka then pulls out her top along with her gun. Hold the did you get them past Principal Blaze? Asked Naruto. Shizuka says, I keep them in my, he won't think to check there. Naruto says, Shizuka he was a marine. So he knows they're there but you never pulled them out now you need to lose them. As she says, cause it's annoying to take them out. Naruto gets into her face, Shizuka. She shivers as she says, why yes you Uzumaki. Remove them now, or else I will do it and you will not enjoy it if I do it, said Naruto with the voice that scared her. She gets up, and well, at first there's a pair of pistols, and shotguns. Then more, many, many more. All the while Naruto's eyes widen to the point they are all white as he is shocked to see that she's somehow able to hide a whole armory on her person. Naruto turns to her mother. It has gotten bad, you say? No, this is worse. I have a lot of work to do. The woman says, what? They are for her protection. Naruto says, from what? An army. This is way too much. Naruto puts his face in his hands as he thinks, what did I get myself into? I'm just a gamer, man. As Shizuka remembers, oh right, she then brings out a rocket launcher from somewhere. Naruto's eye twitches, then grabs all the weapons and walks out of the room and say, you are not getting these back, Shizuka, you have a lot to learn. As he's pissed, Shizuka runs after him, hey, give those back. As the woman lights up a cigar as she says, you know, he does take a lot after Kushina, as she remembers the past of how Kushina would do the same with her. Then they look out of the room as they see Shizuka is tied up and Naruto is carrying over his shoulder, as I said, no more weapons for you. I am going to teach you how to relax, and that is not relaxing. Also Principal Blaze will know, as I am going to call him, so no more weapons. While Shizuka is struggling, yup, a lot like Kushina, said the woman as she sees in their place, is Kushina while carrying a tied younger self of herself in her daughter's place. Shizuka also looks to her mother to help her, but no help is coming as she is scared of her fate. It's been an hour since Naruto arrived at the house of the mafia family. Naruto is sitting with a tied-up Shizuka as she says, see, could you put me to the side, Uzumaki? Naruto says, why? Shizuka says, I'm not used to being on a boy's lap. Naruto thinks, then says, denied. Shizuka whines a bit as she is on Naruto's lap. Naruto then turns on the TV. Your first lesson is to relax at home. Sometimes you can let your hair down. You will be fine, but a small bit of paranoia is not a bad idea, but you must relax. Or the stress will kill you. Shizuka listens while trying to fight off her blush. Oh okay, as she looks at Naruto and she never notices how handsome he is. Now that she is up close. Her mother sees this and plans to tease her daughter as Naruto is telling her more. Until there is a loud banging on the front door. She goes to see who is at the door. She looks out the peephole to see Tenten as she says, hi Miss Nadeshiko. She opens the door, hello Tenten. Come in. Shizuka is tied up in the living room with Naruto. Tenten runs into the living room and Shizuka's mother closes the door and follows. Moments later, Miss Nadeshiko finds Tenten, standing with her mouth wide open with a blush on her as she sees Shizuka tied up and on Naruto's lap. She laughs at Tenten's face as is Naruto. Shizuka asks, is she okay? How would you react to seeing your friend tied up and in a boy's lap in her house? Asked Naruto with a brow raise. Shizuka says, oh, alright, and she blushes again. Naruto laughs as Miss Nadeshiko laughs even harder as Shizuka blushes more. As she isn't used to this. Naruto then pokes her nose, which puts Shizuka in massive overload and passes out. Naruto laughs even more as he puts her on the sofa. Later in the night, Naruto is back home smiling as he walks into the living room, where he finds his grandmother waiting for him. Naruto loses his smile. Yes, grandma. Mito asks, why lose the smile, Naruto? As she gets up, Naruto says, oh, cause when you show up unannounced something has gone wrong. Mito blinks on that, but I don't, I only come to ask you something. How much do you know about the Hyugas? Naruto hears the echo of a bitchy rich girl laughing. They are arrogant pieces of shit who treat everyone like shit. The father has tried to get control of Uzutech for a while now. Naruto looks at Mito with a narrow look. Please don't tell me you did some deal with him. Says Naruto with a brow twitching. Mito says, oh heck no. This is something else. Cause I'm sure you know, Hiyashi's daughter, Hanabi, right? Naruto says, the snobbish bitch that I ever had to deal with, feeling sick just being in the same room as her. Yes. Mito says, well, how do you feel that she has a sister? Naruto groans, not another bitch please. As he can see not one by two as the other might be either a twin or older sister of Hanabi as they do. The rich girl laughed together. Well, you're in luck, the sister isn't like Hanabi at all. Well, that's because Hanabi doesn't like her at all, said Mito, which Naruto is confused by. I'm sorry, what? Naruto asks. Mito nods. It is true. Hiyashi and his wife divorced and Hitomi took Hanabi's twin with her, which by the way takes place on the day of their birthday. Naruto blinks then asks, wait, you mean Hanabi isn't the sole heir of the Hyuga? There's another one, who might be kind, as he is shocked by this. Mito nods, yup, but she lives on the other side of Japan away from Hiyashi, as she gets something from her pocket, and another thing is that, she is the true heir given that she is born 20 secs before Hanabi. Naruto says, oh great, so how are they going to remove Hiyashi and Hanabi from power? Mito says, that I don't know myself since the affairs of the Hyugas are very much kept in secretly. Naruto says, so it is the affairs of the Uzumaki. Besides, Hiyashi needs to learn a lesson, don't mess with the Uzumakis. Mito giggles as it is true as she gets the photo and shows it to Naruto. Alright, here's how she looks. Naruto is surprised and says, I am still not going to do anything at all, grandma, I want to get to know the woman first. Mito shakes her head, oh no, I'm not asking you to make her your girl, I'm asking you to go find her when you can. Naruto is surprised by that as he looks at the photo. A bit later, at Naruto's gaming room, so Hanabi Hyuga, one of the mean girls of the whole school, has a sister. Says Koko. Naruto says, yes. I was just as surprised, as Blake took it and looked at it. I can see from the look of this photo, not only is she way hotter but a whole lot kinder. I wonder who can tame a dog that big and not have to be dragged by. She points it out as in the photo. Shows a girl, who is about 17, long ink blue hair, white eyes as she wears her casual clothes which hug onto her impressive figure with large and a long skirt that covers her legs, and next to her is a large dog with its leash on it as they seem to be walking. Naruto nods and says, she lives on the other side of Japan. I don't think we will see her soon. So I will say this. I heard rumor that the true heir of the company between Hiyashi and Hitomi is Hitomi, whose father ran it. Samui says, wait, that old was married and his ex-wife is named Hitomi. Naruto says, yes, I heard from my grandmother, and Hitomi is biding her time to regain control of the company. Momo looks at the photo, so do you know the sister's name? Naruto says, no, but this stays with us, okay? All of them nod as they understand. Naruto nods, good, as I don't want to deal with Hiyashi and Hanabi at all. As Elisa says, you know, I could ask my friends in the Pokemon Go group if they see this girl. Naruto says, I can also put my contacts out there to find her as well. Elisa nods. Naruto sighs, I wish grandma did not bring this to me. All of them look at him. Naruto says, I have to help Shizuka, YouTube, school now this. Grandma loves doing this to me. All the girls, as Momo says, are you sure? Naruto thinks and hears his grandmother's voice, you don't need to do anything, as I will handle it myself, and besides I'm sure you have our own hands full. Naruto says, I just wish a little warning would help. All of them glaring at him, then he says, alright, she says that she will handle it herself. Naruto then turns away from them, but still I would like a little heads up as this was just out of the left field. All of them are still glaring at him. Naruto says, girls, if you don't stop then I guess you don't want any cuddle time. The next day, at school, Naruto is in class with Koko, as the other students are getting intel. Naruto hears, Uzumaki. Says the voice of Shizuka as she comes up to him with a look of panic. Naruto asks, yes. Shizuka says, Tenten won't talk to me. Not since she saw me on your lap. Everyone looks at them when they hear that. Naruto sighs and says, get your heads out of the gutter or else I will shove yours into a gutter. Shizuka, I will deal with Tenten. I know one person who can talk to her as I am helping you relax. Koko says, don't look at me, I'm not the calming another type, she smiles. Naruto says, I was not thinking of you Koko, I am talking about Chun-Li sensei Tenten's mother. Koko blushes in embarrassment. Oh, right, she laughs a bit as she realizes that she embarrasses herself. Naruto and Shizuka hunt down Tenten and they find her, which they end up finding on the bleachers. Naruto then whistles to Chun-Li and she turns to see Naruto and Shizuka. Oh, what brings you two here? Chun-Li asks as she knows there should be at class. Naruto points to Shizuka. Shizuka will explain. Shizuka explains what happened to Chun-Li, and the older woman blinks as she says, huh, that would explain why she been gloomy all morning. Naruto nods, yes please talk to your daughter as this was your request to me. Chun-Li says, well, I will give it a shot. Chun-Li heads over to Tenten as Shizuka looks worried. Chun-Li starts to talk to her daughter. Naruto says, I'm sure she will come around and put this all thing behind her. Moments later, yes she says doesn't want to talk to you for a while Shizuka, said Chun-Li. Shizuka is crying now and Naruto's eye twitches at this, and then Naruto goes up and grabs Tenten and drags her over to Shizuka who he grabs as well and take them to a closet opens the door and pushes them both into it, you're not getting out until this is dealt with. Naruto then closes and locks the doors. Both look at each other with Shizuka about to say something but Tenten turns away from her. Shizuka then hugs her, please listen Tenten please just listen to what I have to say. As Tenten sighs, Naruto walks away as he leaves them be. Then he hears something and turns to see someone punching him. Or try to as Naruto quickly catches the guy's fist and twists it, alright what's the big deal? You were in the way of Lord Riser Phoenix, said another guard. Naruto deadpans as he says, oh lord. Then he sees another fist coming at him, it hits Naruto and he is on his knees and then he looks up to see this smug-looking bastard named Riser Phoenix. Okay, why are you even doing this for pal? I am here to pick out a wife for myself as it seems my parents failed at getting me a marriage contract and I need a bride. Riser said with a smug smirk. Naruto blinks and says, and why are you throwing hands at me? Simple peasant, you are the way to the fair lady, Miss Coco Oddle, said Riser who snaps his fingers and a guard grabs Naruto by the neck and starts to squeeze then over the loudspeakers they hear a snap. And a body drop to the ground. Everyone hears this and well. They start freaking out then they all hear over the loudspeakers, Riser Phoenix. So the banished clan is still up to their old tricks. I recall you all lost a shit ton of money and prestige after my grandfather banished your clan from the Phoenix Clan Alliance with a kill on-sight order. Watch out boy, I am coming for your hide. It was the principal and he is not happy. Then the gym teacher is fighting some guards and kicking with the rest of the staff dealing with other guards. Naruto blinks as he thinking, what the is going on with my life? Then the guard that is holding him is hit by a flying guard and they all turn to see Blaze without his shirt punch another guard into the wall making him scream in pain. They see the Phoenixkage clan symbol on his back. A multi-tailed phoenix with a holy and demonic claymore crossed behind it with a polearm standing straight up behind the phoenix. Blaze is ripped with some scars on his chest. Naruto is thinking again, the is going on with my life. Naruto back to class with you, let the teachers deal with this, said Blaze as the janitor rips off his top showing he is ripped as well. Naruto along with the other students is just lost to all hell. A couple of hours later, the gym now seems to be a battlefield along with the whole school as the police have arrived along with the other members of the Phoenix Clan Alliance. They are arresting the guards while one is put into a body bag to take to the morgue. Blaze has a new suit top as his wife brought it for him as Riser is also arrested. Blaze then made an announcement, due to what happened classes are cancelled so all students can head on home. The students are surprised as they head home. Naruto, however, he's not sure what to make of this. Naruto gets into the car with three of his girls getting into the car. Coco is riding shotgun with Winter and Momo in the back. Coco asks, love, are you okay? Yeah I know Riser Phoenix was here for you Coco my dear, said Naruto. Coco blinks at that and says, who the bloody hell is Riser Phoenix? It sounds like a pornstar name. Naruto laughs and says, he is a member of the Phoenix family and it seems they were banished from the Phoenix Clan Alliance, which seems the lead clan is Principal Blaze's clan, the Phoenixkiges. The girls look at him. How do you know this? Naruto says, I may or may not be stuck around and hear the whole backstory. Naruto then sees Shizuka and Tenten talking and giggling as friends again as they get into a car together as Naruto says, well, at least I was able to save a friendship. I wonder why Tenten was so willing to end it anyway. The other girls look at each other as one of them looks, he doesn't. As the other, don't say anything. Naruto drives away with Samui and Elisa following in their car. Later at home, so the reason you guys are out early is because some clan beef started with this guy who has a pornstar name as he wanted our Coco as his wife, said Naruto, and Samui and Elisa are surprised at this. Coco says, I don't even know the guy, how does he know about me? Naruto says, my guess is his parents tried to get a marriage contract from your mother with you marrying Riser. Coco shrugs as she says, I guess so, but my mother is the kind of woman that let no one bothers her in her work. Sue. Naruto says, you know she will always make sure that you are taken care of, Coco, as she knows that you want us to be together like I love all of you girls. He smiles with Coco nods to that as she says, which is why makes me wonder why this Riser, you know what? Forget it, what's done is done, he's in jail and I don't have to worry about it before it would become my problem. Yeah, thanks to the teachers, said Naruto as they hear the knocking on the door. Naruto says, oh, the food is here. Naruto goes to get the food, then in a few moments, he returns with bags as he says, all right, gather and get what you had ordered. Everyone gets up and gets what they ordered. Soon enough they begin eating. They are enjoying their meal together as Naruto is happy that everyone is safe as he is eating. A bit later, with Naruto looking over the next game to play, yet, after looking, he stops a bit as he yawns. Then he is hugged from behind by Coco as he says, what's up, Coco? Coco giggles and says, well, I was wondering what my fiancé was doing. Naruto says, well, not much, just looking over what game to play next, besides Call of Duty. Sigh, I'm so sick of it. Coco then blows in Naruto's ear and then says, well, you have a fiancé who wants some time with you. Naruto says, like what? He doesn't mind. Coco says, oh, how about you, me in the bedroom getting it on, she says in a seductive voice. Naruto smirks as he says, oh, that sounds wonderful. Naruto gets up, then picks up Coco in a princess carry and takes her to his room as she giggles as they make their way there. Naruto then opens his bedroom door. There enter and Naruto place Coco on the bed. Naruto goes and closes the door and turns to see Coco giving him a sexy look as she removes her boots and her socks as Naruto smirks as he says, oh, my sexy Coco wants it so badly, doesn't see. Coco says, you have no idea, my love. Naruto then removes his shirt and says, oh, good, as you are going to have a wonderful day with you screaming my name. He smiles and Coco says, we will see, as her eyes giving Naruto the answer he wants. Naruto leans over and kisses Coco and she kisses back, and then his tongue goes into her mouth and their tongues wrap around each other. Naruto is moaning with Coco on her knees as she licks Naruto's. Naruto is enjoying this so much with Coco says, you're so big, my love. Naruto says, genetics plus it helps me with pleasing you girls all the better. Coco nods as she can't argue with that. Coco then grabs her and wraps them around Naruto's and Coco says, oh, it feels so hot in between my. Naruto says, they are still so soft no matter how much time has passed. Coco smiles, she is moving her up and down his as she smiles more while she says, you enjoy having R on your ick, don't you? Naruto says, what can I say? You and your girls have the softest. Coco giggles then takes the tip into her mouth as she licks it. Naruto groans as she does as he says, damn, don't I love it when you do that. Coco then starts to his with her still around his. Naruto enjoys this more. 30 minutes later, Naruto is going to Get ready Coco, I am going to come. Coco is his like crazy. Naruto then comes into Coco's mouth and Coco is drinking it as its massive load. Naruto keeps groaning as Coco gains hearts in her eyes as she drinks the cum more as she thinks, yes Naruto, fill my belly with your cum. Naruto says, damn, you have improved, since you couldn't last more than 2 minutes drinking my load. Coco just looks at him with hearts in her eyes as she drinking more until finally Naruto is done coming. Coco then removes her mouth from his as she licks her lips as she says, I can't get enough of your cum. Naruto then says, how about I put my cum somewhere else? As his is still hard, yes my love, she gets on her back with her stocking-clad legs in the air and spreads them showing her shaven and she says, how about you put that of yours in here? Naruto smiles. And he says, as my model wishes for it. Naruto then gets above her and thrusts his into her making her moan as she is being in a missionary position with her feet hanging in the air. If only those jocks and other shits can see you in this position now being by me. Said Naruto with Coco screaming as she shouts, please me more Naruto darling. Naruto thrusts more in her. Naruto then kisses her making her moan even more as they're going at it like animals. Naruto's tongue enters her mouth again as they're more. A bit later, Naruto is now Coco in doggy style as Coco shouts, Naruto is me in my most favorited position. Naruto thrusts more in her while holding onto her hips. Naruto smirks then leans into her back and licks her neck as her and jiggle with each impact as Coco shouts, yes. Naruto more please your model. With her eyes rolling upward, Naruto thrusts more as he says, yes I will. Then he left her up and changed the position into reverse cowgirl. Coco kept moaning as she said, oh sweet Kami. Why you're as deeper in me than before. Naruto says, oh yes you SLTTY model of mine. Now tell me what do you think the others say about me you like'a? Coco couldn't answer him as she felt too good to do that as Naruto her more as she bounces on his like crazy. Naruto chuckles as he turns his women who are very well mannered into hungry when he them, then again he did make them this way after all. Naruto keeps Coco more as she bounces on him more. Naruto grabs her plump making her moan more as Coco shouts, yes Naruto keep it up please. As they keep it up. An hour later, Naruto is her in full Nelson in front of a mirror with Coco losing her mind as Naruto says, look at who you truly are, a no good model. This is your life. Coco shouts, yes it is. A life I won't change for anything. Then think about all those idiots who hit on you, imagine all of them seeing you like this. What would you tell them? Said Naruto as Coco shouted, who? As she feels more of Naruto thrust in her. How about that pervert Issei Hyodo? Said Naruto as he thrusts more in her with Coco shouting out, him. Naruto smirks, like all the other idiots who hit on you like dash. Coco's toes are curling with her losing more of her mind. Screw the, I belong to you and I will gladly tell everyone to UCK off that as I am your model. Naruto smirks as he is done with that and just goes on her more. An hour later, Coco is panting as her womb is filled with Naruto's cum and his is at her asshole as he says, I wonder how you will do this time. Last time, you barely went through 2 hours. Coco says, please my. Naruto I know you want to my fat ass. Naruto says, well, let's find out how long you can last this time, he thrusts in her. Coco screams in pleasure as she shouts, yes welcome to my Naruto Jr. Naruto keeps fucking her fat ass as he loves doing this to his girls as Coco screams louder as she shouts out how much she loves Naruto Jr. aka his but she loves Naruto more. Naruto then turns her head and kisses her on the lips and she kisses back with hearts popping out of her head. Naruto starts her even faster. An hour later, Naruto is now fucking Coco with her front on the bed and Naruto is her still as Coco screams and moans and her mind is gone. Naruto keeps her as they lost sense of time. 2 hours later, there's a knock on the door. It is one of the 3 maids, not just any maid but the head maid Graphia Lucifuge, and she says, Master Uzumaki, dinner had begin and your food is get. She opens the door and sees Naruto Koko hard and Graphia closes the door as she says, "I will return upon later time." She bows then walks away. Naruto keeps Koko as he's saying, "That's it Koko, keep taking my into your fat ass." Koko screams louder. Naruto keeps her with his hands on her, them now in a frenzy filled with lust and love. Naruto then comes into her making her scream more, but he keeps thrusting in her while still coming in her. Koko is losing even more of her mind, well if there's any left that is. With them going at it more. 3 hours later. Over. Koko is passed out with her belly and her womb is filled up with so much cum and she's not waking up anytime soon. Naruto gets dressed, heads out and closes his door for dinner. That's when he realizes the time as it is 6 p.m. and Naruto heads to get the dinner. Graphia left as he thinking, "I will need to set up some kind of timer." Naruto heads to the kitchen and reheats the meal. As he waits, he looks through games which he ends up finding one that he wants to do next on his YouTube channel. Then Naruto picks out the newest Pokemon game, Pokemon Legends Arceus. Can't pass that up. Naruto knows he will start this soon. Then he checks on videos, then he hears the timer ring. Naruto goes to get his dinner and he wonders where the others are, then he hears the door opening. Naruto turns to see Samui and the others had gone shopping as Winter saw him. "Oh Naruto," she said as she comes up to him, "Here, I got you this since you were busy with Koko." Naruto says, "Yeah, sorry about that," as Winter hands him a copy of the Pokemon game he was going to get. Naruto accepts and kisses her cheek. Winter blushes. "Oh, thank you Winter for picking up a game that I was going to get," said Naruto as she says, "No problem." Naruto heads over to his gaming room as he gets it set up. As he will have a clone start tomorrow, for now, he has dinner to eat. The next day the girls took their cars while Naruto pulls up on his motorcycle as he says, "Gotta ride solo today girls." The girls nod in understanding as that bike was built in a tag team between Naruto and their friend Gogo Tamago, and Naruto says, "But I will promise you guys to take you all out on a big dinner." The girl says, "Naruto, we understand sometimes you need your adrenaline rush." "We understand." Naruto nods as he drives away. Naruto puts on his helmet, starts the motorcycle, and says, "Let's ride." And he then rides away with the roar of the engine and he is enjoying the ride. A bit later, they arrive at school and some teens are surprised at the motorcycle as it parks, then Naruto takes off the helmet as he says, "Woo, what a ride." Some of the popular kids are not happy as Naruto has a custom-made motorcycle while the others are wondering how he got it since they have never seen it before. Naruto pushes a button and to the shock of everyone, the bike then shoots something into the ground to keep it from being stolen as the cables are thick as hell. Everyone is in awe about it. Naruto then heads into the school as he does not have to worry about someone stealing his bike, but then he hears Dorkface. Naruto asks, "What do you want, Dash?" Naruto sees Dash coming up to him. Naruto sighs as Dash has done this before as he sees Dash about to grab him. Naruto moves away. "You can talk without grabbing me, Baxter." The grab missed him as Dash says, "Where the hell did you get this amazing bike? And by the looks of it, I guess it's from Uzutech." "I bought it like you bought your car," said Naruto with him narrowing his eyes, and Dash, "But you are poor." Naruto asks, "Who told you that?" "As I have a job." As Dash doesn't buy that at all. Naruto heads into the school and Paulina is walking up with him with a sway of her hips like she wants something from him. Naruto rolls his eyes as he says, "What do you want, bitch?" "Why Naruto, I thought we could take a ride on your motorcycle later. Just you and me," said Paulina in her most seductive tone, and Naruto with an even voice says, "No. As I am not even planning anything with you or all. Yes, the motorcycle is nice but at least I don't up to people." Naruto walks away leaving a shocked Paulina there as every guy, "No way. He knocked down Paulina." Naruto heads into the class and 5 minutes later Koko enters as he waves to her. She enters the class, so the word in the school is you turned down Paulina. Naruto says, "Of course I did, that motorcycle is powerful. More powerful than other motorcycles as it can go fast. Coco blinks as these things are not her thing, but it makes Naruto happy. As she says, "That's good to hear," she smiles. "Yeah, custom-made bike that I will only take my girls on a ride if they want to ride it," Naruto whispers to Coco, as Coco is listening as she knows that Naruto isn't one for fashion, but he listens so she will do the same for him. Coco shivers at that as Naruto would if she asked for it. For now though, their teacher arrived, and she looks a complete mess. She has long black hair, red eyes. She is wearing a suit, but it looks a bit messy and she looks very much rushed putting it on. "Sorry I'm late, students," says the woman as she is trying to get the lesson to begin, as Naruto listens to Coco as he says, "Kurenai-sensei looks like a mess, I wonder what happened." Since she's usual, proper and serious, is an image of a more clear-up and serious-looking woman named Kurenai with a bun. But this messy, loose-hair woman before them, "Kurenai, I had to rush as my daughter was being stubborn about getting up, and there's my damn ex-boyfriend," and she growls in frustration as everyone is talking to each as they say, "Wait, sensei was married. She has a daughter." Naruto is thinking, now who has the right mind to let go of someone like Kurenai-sensei? She's hot, but she is also a kind woman. Kurenai says, "Before you ask, I am a widow. My husband died in battle as he was enlisted. As for my ex, I don't want to talk about him," as she looks at the side as there's a gloomy aura of regret as she thinks, "I regret dating him so much. One time he came to the school, but he was met by Blaze who forced his to leave. So Kurenai then decided, you know what? Free period. I'm taking a nap." She lays her head down on the desk as everyone else in the room is wondering if she's alright. Naruto sighs and pulls out a notebook as he thinks, I guess it was a rough morning, as he does something on his note. Naruto is writing down ideas, while everyone else is doing their own thing as well. Coco is relaxing and pulls out a bottle of water. Everyone waits for the period to be over. A bit later, Naruto is in the gym class as he is doing his daily workout, as Naruto is not taking off his shirt as he hides two things on the muscles and the tattoo of his clan's symbol on his back, so yeah, which is why he is wearing a workout jacket along with a shirt. Dash is lifting weights to show off how strong he is. With some girls looking at Dash with lust, Naruto just rolls his eyes as he thinks, show off. So what if you are strong, it does not matter. As he helped Momo doing her sit-ups. Momo is working up a sweat and Mineta is faking working out. Naruto says, "Don't make me get Sensei, Mineta." Mineta freaks out at that threat while Naruto isn't even looking at him with a deadpan face on him. While Momo is struggling to reach number 30, when she reaches 30 Naruto helps her up as he says, "You did well, Momo," as Momo pants. Naruto is then grabbed by another bully, and it's no other than Kiba Inuzuka. "What do you want, dog breath?" asked Naruto as Kiba's family runs a number of pet shops, but all the members are nice people. Kiba is the disappointment. "What gives you the right to help out Momo as you are not even in the same league as her?" Kiba said as he pushed Naruto. Naruto sighs as he is about to say something, but Momo says, "What gives you the damn right of who should help me, Kiba?" Kiba says, "But Momo-chan, you could have had me help you instead of this loser." Momo narrows her eyes and says, "In that case, help yourself to get out of my face, you asshole. You are not even a friend of mine." As she glares daggers at him. Kiba grits his teeth. Naruto is about to step in, but someone grabs his jacket as they say, "Why are you wearing this? It's not even winter, man." Naruto get off the jacket now. As another, "Why? Scared to show that you are fat?" They force the jacket off him and even the shirt. Then Naruto turns and slugs the knocking out some teeth as he grabs his jacket and shirt, and then they hear a thud as Dash dropped his weight as he is looking at Naruto wide-eyed. Naruto notices this and thus thinks, "Sigh, damn it." Naruto's 8-pack was shown with his muscles and his clan symbol on his back with a badass Kyuubi tattoo on his right arm and a dragon on his left. Naruto sighs as he thinks, "Great, as this is the last thing he wants to happen." Naruto puts his stuff back on, then grabs the two who removed his top. Do that again and you will both find that I can be the most unpleasant bastard you will ever meet. You will not even have any teeth left or a bone left unbroken. So don't do it again. Naruto then pushes them both to the ground where they slide a bit until then stop in front of Chun-Li sensei, who is glaring at the two. Naruto looks around as many girls have passed out as there's a pool of blood, except for Momo cause she gets to see it all the time but needs to act she's not impressed. But she has a blush. Naruto sighs as he heads out. Dash and Kiba are shocked that the weakling they called him was more ripped than they are. End of the school day. Naruto is about to get on his motorcycle when he sees someone he has a good relationship with. It was Slipstream, who makes a motion for Naruto to join for a ride and Naruto smirks. He gets on his motorcycle and then starts it up and heads out following her as they are riding in the wind. Time skipped days before Naruto's birthday. Many people were invited to a club for his birthday as many popular kids are not happy. But right now, Naruto is somewhere else. At the Uzutech headquarter building, Naruto is talking to Gogo Tamago as they are heading to Mito's office as he says, "Wonder why Grandma wants me to come here." Gogo says, "Well, it is your birthday tomorrow, speaking of which I will be coming to your party tomorrow." Naruto smiles, "Really? The great Gogo Tamago is coming to a party? Is the world ending?" Gogo punches Naruto's arm. "You're my friend Naruto, so yeah, I will be there, plus it is a club." Naruto rubs his arm as he thinks, "Damn, that hurt." They kept walking as they arrived at Mito's office. The guard opens the door letting them both in, but Gogo says, "Good luck." She waves as Naruto says, "You're not coming." Gogo said, "Well, I have a bit of work to finish after all." Then she kissed his cheek. "I will see you tomorrow." As she walks off and Naruto smiles, then says, "All right, let's see what Grandma wants." Naruto chuckles and heads into the office. Moments later, Naruto blinks as he says, "I'm sorry, but can you repeat that?" Mito says, "Sign, I said we are going to buy Hyuga Inc." Naruto asks, "Why?" "As if we pay Hiyashi then he will only get a bigger head." Mito says, "Well, about that, turns out, Hiyashi isn't the true owner of Hyuga Inc." Naruto asks, "Then who is?" Mito says, "Well, it took me many months to find out, and it seems Hiyashi, though a Hyuga himself, he's from another set of Hyuga and is married into owning the Hyuga Inc., so meaning Hitomi Hyuga," said Naruto. He blinks as he says, "Oh man. In your face, Hanabi. Your dad is going to lose you." "Wait, I forget. Hitomi is Hanabi's mother." "Never mind." "But wait, the eldest is the true heir, not Hanabi." Mito giggles, "But that's not the main thing I want you to come here about. I have a gift for you." Naruto walks over to here. "Okay," said Naruto. Then he sees a big box with holes on the sides that was placed on the desk Mito while Mito is hopping from left and right as she says, "Oh, I hope you love it. 'Cause he's so hard to get after all." Naruto picks up the box showing a red husky puppy, and it's big. "What am I looking at? A dog?" Mito says, "Well, yes, he's a puppy." Naruto blinks, then looks at the puppy, then back to her and says, "Bullshit. That's a full-grown dog." Mito shows Naruto the papers and everyone checks out. The pup is 8 months old, and he's a rare kind of husky, due to them being able to live longer than normal dogs, about 200 years, and only certain families can get them. Naruto says, "This sounds like Alpha Principal Blaze's red direwolf." He remembers the principal throwing a big birthday party for the dire wolf at the school last month. The dire wolf was friendly, but someone tried to hunt it. That is when the inner beast came out as he was protecting the students. "Oh, that's because of their cousins. Coming from the same ancestor. Well, that's what the breeder told me." Naruto says, "Blaze might be able to tell me as he is the most knowledgeable of the wolves, well, canines." Now then, he looks at the pup who is wagging its tail while still in the box. Naruto picks him up and says, "Thank you, Grandma, and I need to visit Blaze." As he holding the puppy as he walks off while saying, "Now to give you a name." Naruto asks, "How about Fang?" Puppy doesn't like it. As he growls at the name, Naruto gets into the car with the puppy and thinks, let's see. How about, no, Obito. The pup doesn't answer the name. No good, damn you are one picky pup. As they reach school, Blaze is in front of the school waiting for them as Naruto is carrying the pup as he says, how about Red? The puppy growls and Blaze says, not happening it seems. Naruto nods as he holds up the pup, he's very picky. I don't know what to name him. Blaze then suggests, Zuko might work, but what do you want to know about the pup? Asked Blaze as Blaze then whistles and then Alpha appears as he comes running and comes by Blaze's side. So from what I heard from my grandmother, this guy is a red husky, says Naruto as he places the pup down as it comes up to Alpha. Blaze then gets on his knees and looks over the puppy and says, yes, this is a red husky, they are cousins to the red direwolf. In the wild, they would both protect the pack from enemies of the wolf pack by themselves, but out of all of them, the red direwolf is the top of the food chain, as the pup is trying to get Alpha to play along. So is it true they can live up to 200 years? Naruto asks. Blaze nods, yes, that is true. Alpha here can live about 400 years, but Alpha here is over 2000. Naruto blinks and says, wait, does this mean Alpha here has been in your family for a long time now? Since Blaze the first. Said Blaze. Naruto says, so then you are Blaze the what? 50th. 26th. Actually, like all the Blazes before I were warriors and shall belong after me as well. Said Blaze. Naruto says, I see, so I was also told they also have the same ancestor, what is it called? Legacies. Like you are Naruto. Your grandmother told me you are the 18th Naruto to be in the Uzumaki clan. As like your name and my name are namesakes in family names and history. They hope that the person named that is made for greatness, said Blaze. Naruto looks at him and says, I know that. I was asking about the name of their common ancestor. He points at the two red canines. Blaze says, you are looking for the name of the great direwolf, their common ancestor. Though I don't know where the red fur come from. Both Blaze and Naruto look at the two, and see the pup is biting onto Alpha's tail as if trying to drag him to play along, but Alpha ain't moving for nothing. Naruto then just chuckles and Blaze says, well, now the pup's name. Naruto thinks about it. I think I got it, let's see if he likes it. How about Ryu? The pup hears it and lets go of Alpha's tail and runs over to Naruto. It seems Ryu likes his name, said Blaze as Ryu is wagging his tail happily with Naruto patting his head, good boy. Naruto and Ryu head for his car, and when they get in, head to his house. The next day, Naruto is heading to the club on his motorcycle as he looks at the club. As he is thinking, I know this is going to be a whole lot of fun, he parks his ride and gets off. He heads to the door where the guard opens the door letting him in as Naruto says, thank you and keep up the good work. The guard nods as Naruto walks in. Naruto then smirks hearing the music playing as he sees a few people already dancing. Naruto smiles as they see Naruto and, happy birthday Naruto. Naruto smiles as he says, thank you, guys. Naruto is walking around and talking to people while dancing as everyone is enjoying themselves. Then Naruto sees his girls in the VIP room and orders a drink, soda, no alcohol. He is not of age yet as he is 17 years old as he says, I will have a Sprite please. The waiter nods. Naruto waits as he sees Blake coming up to him. Naruto says, hello Blake. Blake smiles as she says, how are you, birthday boy? I am good my lovely kitty. Said Naruto as he and Blake are heading to the VIP room. Naruto looks down a bit with her being caught in his glance as he thinking, that Bella Booty of hers is a wonderful sight to see, but she is a wonderful woman to be with. He smiles. Blake glances back at him and she smirks as she knows where his eyes are, and that is where she wants them, as she thinking, oh, you have no idea what I have in store for you when we return home. They are in the VIP room and it is only them in the VIP room. Naruto says, where are the others? Blake says, they know that this is our time only Naruto. Naruto raises a brow, she then has him sit down and covers the windows. Naruto says, Blake no. Blake then sashays over to him and giggles and asks, oh why dear I am giving you something special and not what you think I am doing. Naruto says, oh my bad, he laughs. Blake starts up a song Right Round by Flo Rida and Blake starts dancing to it. Naruto is sitting there as he sees Blake dancing. Sexual, Blake then smirks at him as she keeps up the dancing. Then she gives him a lap dance and Naruto says, my god Blake you are so good at this. He's smirking widely. Blake says, only for you my dear. As she smiles as she is happy that Naruto is enjoying this, she rubs her against his lap. Naruto says, oh shit Blake, he thinks, oh that's very bold of her. 10 minutes later, Blake stops her dance as she kisses him on the lips and Naruto kisses him back. Blake is pushing her against his chest as she is sitting on his lap as she asks after breaking up the kiss, so did you enjoy my lap dance? Naruto says, I enjoy it very much and I won't mind having it every day. Blake giggles, well my dear we need to get back to your party. Naruto nods, yeah but, he grabs her and holds her very close, this isn't over yet, understand? Naruto growls and Blake shivers knowing that he will be her later on with her says, as you wish birthday boy. Naruto smirks and then walks but then she jumps as he smacks her with her letting out a cute eep. Naruto chuckles with Blake blushing. They head to the party as it is going on as Naruto sees a massive cake. Naruto is happy as he is with his friends. Everyone has a grand time, then Naruto gets his eyes covered. Guess who? Said the voice. Naruto is guessing, grandma. Then he is swatted on the head, you goof. Naruto smirks as he turns around to see Gogo. Sorry, Gogo but you walked right into it, says Naruto as he has a smirk on him. Gogo shakes her head with a small smile. And so the party went on. Meanwhile outside, the bouncers are stopping a few people from entering. If you're not on the list you are not getting into this private party. As Dash says, that's a load of bull. The bouncer said, this club is under Mirajan's family. The boss herself warned us ahead of time that this is a private party and they are using the club as if it is a VIP's birthday. Dash growls as Paulina decides to use her assists. But turns out it doesn't work as. The guard says, nice try I am married so you're not getting into the private party. Paulina is shocked because her good locks and curvy hair would normally do the trick. But the guard does not budge at all. Then a woman walks up and holds up an invite to the party and the guard checks it over showing it was real then asks, name, Pacifica Northwest, says the woman. The guard checks the invite list which she is on and says, go on in Miss Northwest, as he lets her in by moving the rope and she walks in and the guard replaces the rope. As Dash says, why did she get in and not us? The bouncer says, then you clearly don't understand, she is on the list, and you're not punk, Dash growls. Inside, Pacifica is walking up to Naruto as Momo sees her and smiles exactly as she hasn't seen her for a long time. Pacifica. Naruto turns to see Pacifica Northwest after 4 years as he says, Pacifica. As he takes a good look at her. Pacifica has long blonde hair as she is wearing a nice dress which shows off her curvy figure with large double G cup. She says, hi Naruto, long time no see, she smiles. Naruto says, yes it has. Let me see if I remember correctly I had been able to get through your thick skull about the truth of the world which finally opened your eyes. Pacifica nods and says, I am very thankful to you for what you did for me as I have been a changed woman with a different view on the world. Naruto says, that's good to hear, but more so with you making it. Yeah I got the invite a week ago and had to get ready, said Pacifica. She smiles and Naruto asks, so, care to dance? Pacifica says, sure Naruto, just let me do this. She tears off the long skirt part of the dress and makes it short as her legs are shown. There, says Pacifica. Naruto chuckles as Pacifica is still the same as she has flair. And so they danced, they had fun as they danced intensely. After that it was time for cake again. This went on for the next couple of hours until everyone had to go home. And speaking of home, Naruto is on his motorcycle waiting for Blake as she gets out of the club and rushes up to Naruto as she is holding a helmet, which is specially made because it has cat ears on them. She gets on behind Naruto and puts her helmet on as Naruto already has his on, and he starts his motorcycle and books it before he has to deal with Dash and Paulina, Naruto says as he drives off, later punks. As Blake is giving them the finger as they head off with Dash, get back here. Naruto makes the motorcycle go faster as Blake is holding onto Naruto. Naruto says, "Are you okay back there, Blake?" Blake is enjoying the air blowing through her hair. "Oh hell yeah, Naruto," shouts Blake as they're moving fast as they're moving past cars and such. Naruto smiles happily that Blake is enjoying herself on the bike. Theme Shut Up and Drive by Rihanna. As they're driving on the highway with Blake cheering as she enjoys this, Naruto is driving, enjoying the ride with Blake as it's about a 30-minute ride home, but Naruto wants to enjoy the ride with Blake as she is enjoying this, so he decides to make the ride last longer. Blake is enjoying the ride with her hair in the wind. This lasts for a good while. Theme song ended. Both arrive home and it's a bit before sunset. Naruto pulls into the garage in the walled compound as he says, "We are home, but that was fun." He smiles. Blake says, "Yes it was, but it is time for something else, your other gift from me." She smiles. Naruto can't wait for it, as he is forgetting something. As they walk in, then Naruto is tackled by Ryu as he says, "Forget about you for a moment there, Ryu." He smiles as the pup licks him. Blake smiles and pats the pup as Naruto gets up and says, "All right, Ryu, go to your bed." The pup looking at him as he panting, "Go to your bed," Naruto said again. Ryu licks his lips. Naruto says, "Well, I guess I still have ways to go to have him listen to basic commands." Blake giggles. Naruto picks up the Ryu as he says, "If you are this heavy, I will hate to see when you are fully grown, Ryu." Ryu barks as Naruto puts him in his playpen and on his bed, which he moves in circles then lays down as he sleeps. Blake smiles, then Naruto turns and whispers, "I want to see you up in my room ready for a long night." Blake smiles while blushing, "Oh my." Naruto smirks as Blake is sashaying up those steps, making her bounce and jiggle. Naruto thinking, "Oh yes, that Belabuti is going to get pounded tonight," as he follows her. They head over to Naruto's room. Blake enters the room and removes her shoes as she looks back at Naruto with a smile on her. Naruto chuckles as she gets on the bed into a sexy pose. Naruto says, "Oh my sexy Blake is ready for me." And Blake says, "Well, you tell me, lover boy." She undoes her top to show off her to him. Naruto licks his lips as he jumps to her and she is giggling loudly. Naruto kisses Blake, who moans as they take off their clothes. Starts. Naruto is playing with Blake moaning loudly with her saying, "Yes Naruto, play with my tits. They are all for you to play with whenever." Naruto smiles upon that and says, "Oh, I know that, as you belong to me. I don't plan on you ever leave me." Blake says, "Never." As she moans loudly, Naruto kisses her cheek. In a few minutes, Blake is kneeling as Naruto is taking off his pants. His then smacks her face as she says, "Oh yes, there you are, Naruto Jr. and you have gotten B bigger." As Naruto's standing a good 18 inches, Naruto says, "Well, you will be the first to test out my new size." Blake licks her lips, then she licks his. Naruto says, "Go for Blake." Blake then starts to Naruto's. Before she could take half, but now with it bigger, she takes in less now. Blake is working her mouth over his as she thinks, "I can do this, I just need to take my time." As she slowly takes in more while Naruto says, "Blake, take your time, it is bigger after all," as he smiles. Blake looks at him with hearts in her eyes. Naruto moans as he enjoys this. Naruto also rubs her head, Blake slowly taking in more of Naruto's in her mouth. Blake is also licking his as she thinks, "Oh, his is big. I wonder if it will get bigger in the future." Naruto groans, "This feels so good, babe." Blake has now taken 75% of his into her mouth as she can do this. Before she could do more, Naruto says, "Coming." Blake then has him come down her throat and she realizes that it's way more than before, but she takes all of them come like a pro, all thanks to their nights of practice. Blake's belly inflates a little bit as she drinks more until she can no more. After Naruto is done he pulls out of her mouth as the rest of the cum gets on Blake's face. Once Naruto is done coming, Blake licks off some of it from the side as she says, "Oh, that was wonderful and tasty, Naruto." Naruto says, "Good, 'cause I have loads more for you." Blake says, "Well, I can think of one place that wants that cum of yours more than my mouth." Naruto smirks at that. A few minutes later, Naruto is Blake with her back against the wall with him holding onto her legs while Blake is screaming her heart out as she shouts out, "Yes, more, me more. My is yours. I don't care about the other loser boys, I only want you in my." While her mind is melting away, Naruto groans as he thrusts in her more. Naruto's chest is against her making them balloon out. Naruto then kisses her deeply while he her harder than before. Blake is enjoying this so much as the is hitting all of her spots in her as she thinks, "Yes, Naruto. Me. FCK me like there's no tomorrow." Naruto's tongue enters her mouth and she allows it. Naruto and Blake's tongues are intertwined as they lick each other's tongues. They both moan as they kiss while hard. Naruto keeps her hard. A bit later, Blake is bouncing her making her cheeks clamp for Naruto's eyes while Naruto says, "Keep bouncing the bellabuti of yours." Blake shouts, Don't say that." As she loses her mind with Naruto says, "But it is the truth, you're as your bellabuti and I like watching it move as it is a part of you, my fiancé." Blake moans loudly while blushing badly as she says, I don't like that nickname." As she gets more turned on, Naruto says, "But it turns you on and I was thinking after your it would be time to take your bellabuti." And Blake shouts, "Oh Kami." Naruto smirks as her cheeks clapping gets more frequent, "Twerk that bellabuti," said Naruto as he is watching with Blake losing her mind even more. A bit later, Naruto is Blake in missionary with his front against hers with her legs in the air, Blake shouting out, "I love you," over and over again with Naruto saying, "So do I." Blake, just remember who your bellabuti belongs to. He thrusts harder than before. Blake moans with her tongue hanging out of her mouth with her eyes rolling upward. Naruto keeps her even more than before. Later into the night, Naruto has Blake bent over on the bed as he is putting on lube as he is also squeezing her. "I love grabbing, squeezing, and smacking this bellabuti of yours." As his cum leaks out of her, Blake says, Please be gentle with my n Naruto. But this bellabuti is so big and soft. You know you enjoy it when I play with it," said Naruto in a husky voice as he whispered in her ear, Blake moaning upon that. Naruto then thrusts into her making her scream as his hole is in her with her hitting Naruto's hips, making Blake scream her heart out. Naruto smirks and starts to thrust into her even more and Blake screams louder as she shouts, "Oh shit Naruto, yes, more please." Naruto doing what she asks for while he says, "That's it, Blake, I am not going to stop this bellabuti until we are both satisfied." Blake screams louder with her saying, "Yes, my more," as she loves every sec of this. Naruto her and even smacks her making her scream with Naruto thinking, "We going to have a long night." Blake could no longer think besides the image of Naruto and his as it thrust in her more. A bit later, Naruto is her against a wall as there are no longer words between them, only pure lust and love from them. Naruto keeps grunting as he keeps her with Blake having her face against the wall as her mind is all gone. Naruto then kisses her cheek with him and thrusts more in her as they keep going. 5 hours later, Naruto is laying down with a Blake who has her belly full of so much cum snuggled up to him, while Naruto is thinking, one of the best birthdays yet. As he goes to sleep. In the morning, Naruto is walking down with Blake as his hand is on her while squeezing it as Samui says, "Well, ain't you two in a good mood," with a smile. Naruto sits down and pulls Blake into his lap and Naruto says, "Well, how can we not be as I got to one of my girls?" With a big smile on his face, Samui says, "Fair enough." Blake is still blushing as her is on his lap. The others giggle as he has done the same to them.